Guy on the screen said this, and I think he's a fairly smart guy. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So if you haven't already, you will begin getting the question more frequently, how's the market? And the worst answer in the world you could give is, oh my goodness, it's so great. It's awesome. Because it's not all awesome and it's not all bad. What's the appropriate response to that question?
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest?
Why do you ask?
Yeah, that's a great question. Tell me, why do you ask? Because right now, if your market's like mine, there's some parts of our market that are terrible. Days on market have tripled. And there's other parts of the market, price points, that as soon as you put it on, you get multiple offers and you'd be way above asking price. Are there sub-markets in each of our general markets? Say yes.
Yes.
We can't give a general answer to a specific question. We need to understand why are they asking the question, and that requires us to be the local economist of choice. We have to understand what's actually happening. Here's what we know, and this is where it gets interesting for you if you're a data junkie, and it's also interesting for you when you're doing listing presentations. This is year-over-year change in price by region that comes from the FHFA. What we know is this is last year versus this year. So by region, this is the appreciation average by that region that the homeowners there or the home sellers experienced or homeowners are experiencing. This is what they've seen. So across the board, anywhere between 4 and 5.5%. The historic norm in the United States is a little bit over 3. So this is healthy appreciation. We've more than made up for everything that was lost in 2008. Here's what we also know. As a result, the correlation and change in price. So find your state on this map. Now, you can say what you want to about Idaho, Jeff, but we absolutely kicked your butt this year. But year over year change in price, we know that each state had appreciation. Some just had more appreciation than others. Do you know your state's number? Because if you've got people coming in from out of state, which is most of you, you're going to need to know the relationship or should know the relationship between the market they're coming from and the market they're joining you in. Now, average annual equity gain. This is important. Look at this historic trend. Look at what happened in 2011. Did we gain or lose equity nationally?
Lost it.
Lost it. Absolutely lost it. Now, at the same time, look what happened subsequently. We more than made all of it back. However, again, some of these sellers don't know. Some of the sellers have no idea what their homes are actually worth in today's market, and they have no context. It's your job to help educate them through that process. Here's what we also know. Tappable equity. I told you we were going to talk about another option for you as an agent in this market. So you're looking at tappable equity. We are at an all-time high in the average U.S. mortgage holder equity. So now that I say that, what do you think? Yes, we're going to go a few minutes long, and I promise you it'll be worth it. What do you think is likely the opportunity that I'm thinking of when I see this?
Refinance and invest.
Who was that?
Jordan Puffer.
Jordan, you're my other favorite. Yes, 100%. Interest rates are still below 4%. A number of these homeowners can tap their equity, refinance, have not too much higher of a payment, take out a substantial amount enough money to be able to go do a down payment on an investment property. Are you having those types of conversations with people? Or are you like the average agent who sees somebody and says, oh no, we're not interested in moving, and so you never talk to them? They don't have to be interested in moving for you to be able to help them increase their wealth and you to grow your business at the same time.
You know what else this needs, Ben? We have, why is this, our phone number list provider.
Landvoice?
Yes,
Landvoice.
thank you. God. So we have Landvoice. One of the most underutilized pages on that is notice of default. Do you think if you're a lien holder and you know there's record number of equity in the properties that you have liens on, would you be willing to foreclose at a record pace knowing that you have all that equity? You better bet you would. And so there's so many people that are in that section of Landvoice that are in default that have equity that if they sold, they'd leave with a check. They don't have to short sell. So it's such a huge opportunity to have a conversation with people.
I love that. And it's going to get bigger, guys. It's going to get absolutely bigger. People are sitting on more equity now than they ever have before. It's your job to take that message to them. It also happens to be a really easy reason for a phone call to each of your people. Next, here's the forecasted year-over-year percentage change in price. So this is according to CoreLogic. CoreLogic is predicting based on all their factors. They have a bunch of geeks in a room, and they're predicting based on all their factors what the likely year-over-year percentage in price change will be. Now, outside of Texas, everyone else is really excited about next year. Sorry, Jaime. Everyone else is really excited about appreciation next year because it's all still very, very healthy. Again, this bodes well for the strategy we just talked about. Now, recession, the big R word, the word that everybody's talking about without wanting to talk about it. Do we know that at some point the market has to take a significant change? Say yes.
Yes.
What goes up must come
Up.
down. And guess what? Some of the biggest opportunities in real estate investment happens when the market's down, not up. So it's all in how your perspective is around the word recession. There's huge opportunity for your clients and for yourself. It's our job to prepare them for it and arm them with the data they need to take advantage of the opportunity that shows up in the middle of this changing market. Here's what we know. They asked all these nerds at all these companies and all the sources right here. They asked all of them when they think the next recession is going to begin. What's the consensus on this screen as you're looking at it?
It already started.
Yeah, but they're saying next year is when it's really going to hit. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be like last time because last time was an economic collapse. It was not a recession. It was worse than a recession. Statistically, it was actually a depression. So we're not talking about the same pain we went through before. We are talking about a substantial change in the market. You can see 40.3% of all of those economic, really numbers-focused people, 40.3% are predicting 2020. Now, guess what? The average cycle of our market is 5 to 7 years, and we're on year like 10 or 11. So they're not always right. But when 40.3% of them agree, it means it's going to be somewhere in that range with a high level of probability. Again, there's opportunity in that. There's opportunity as a result of that. Our job is to be prepared and to prepare our people. You can see here, senior economist realtor.com, he says this is going to be a much shorter recession than the last one. Note that, a shorter recession. I don't think the next recession will be a repeat of 2008. The housing market's in a better position, which it is. We know that to be true. So yes, we're going to have a recession and a correction, and yes, it's supposed to be significantly shorter than the last one. Here's what we also know. Here are the home price changes the last 5 recessions. Anybody know any people who used to be realtors in 2008 that aren't anymore? This is why. And the good news is if you were there then, you survived. And a lot of the people that survived that market came out stronger as a result of it. Now, sales-wise, here's what we know. Look at the average days on the market nationally. Average days on market nationally. The United States average is 29 days. But by your market, it's significantly different. This is why we've been saying from the beginning, just because you don't feel the shift in your market yet doesn't mean it's not happening in other markets. Look at Florida. Look at Missouri. Look at Louisiana. You see how these shoulder markets start the trend and then it works its way across the country. This West Coast group is always the last to feel it, but we're always looking at the East Coast to see when it's going to start, and it's already started. Doesn't have to be bad, but it's upon us. Now, pending home sales. Look what also another indicator is. Midwest, you're down. Northeast, you're down. U.S. overall, yeah, it's actually down, but nobody's talking about that. Now, is it down significantly? No, but is it enough to tell us that maybe something is brewing and something's starting, a change is upon us? Absolutely. Again, it's up to you to take this message to your people, not with doom and gloom, not to scare, but to inform and prepare and to uncover the opportunities that they have in the change that's about to happen. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the wealthy people that I know that I get the pleasure of having as mentors, they've cashed almost everything they have out. Why do you think they've done that?
Preparation.
Preparation, because in the middle of a recession, the person with cash wins. I have one guy that's a mentor. I want you to hear this clearly. He has a house in San Diego right on the ocean. Right before the 2008 recession, 2007, he sold it for $12 million. 2011, he bought it back for $3 million. Do you think that's a smart deal? He bought the same house back. He got paid to live in it for 14 years.
Amazing.
This is what the wealthy in our country are doing right now. They are seeing what's coming as opportunity, not with fear, but with excitement, because they know there's money to be made and opportunity to be had for those who are prepared. Now, interest rates. Here's what we also know. You guys, did you know the interest rates just were raised within the last couple of days? Did anybody hear that? Because none of our industry talked about it. Interest rates actually went up. Now, are they still incredibly low historically? Yes.
Yes.
They're incredibly low. Money is incredibly cheap right now. Yet what we also know is rates went up and nobody talked about it. The reason nobody talked about it is because the market didn't react. And when the stock market and the bond market doesn't react to an interest rate adjustment, that's when we also know we are about to be in a changing market. Historically, every other time they change rates, what does the market do? It reacts up or down. If they lower rates, the market usually goes up. If they raise rates, what happens to the market typically? It goes down. And this last time they raised rates and the market was flat. What that tells us is the monetary policy, the Fed, has very little, if any, effect anymore over the course and the direction of our housing market. That tells us that the change is here. Now,
Amen.
from that, did you guys get something of value today that you didn't have when you joined the call?
Yes.
Contact your financial advisor.
Yes.
Right now, if I'm you, I'm going to, whoever said that, I'm going to go to a wealth manager, financial advisor, whoever that person is in my world. And I'm going to say, hey, we need to get together and talk because this could be just the right time for us to do an investment seminar on how people can use the equity in their homes to prepare for the opportunity that's coming. You figure out what that looks like in your market. I don't know your market. All I can do is tell you what we see nationally, and we'll continue to bring this stuff to you at least quarterly so you guys are the economists of choice.